this will be my bottom layer. Double click this to get rid of the background. Just make it into a normal layer. By dragging and dropping and holding the shift while you do it, it places the picture in the dead center. Okay, let's block off the sky in this one with a layer mask. Just click that to add layer. B4 brush, I want to paint in black, it's already black selected in my palette. Increase the brush size with bracket key. I'm going to leave it on 100% just to do the extreme, and then you can always bring it back later and edit it out. Oh, I quite like that. Now I'm going to bring the trees in a bit. No, I'm not. Let's do that later. Okay. I'm going to change my brush color. Pressing X to paint back in. What I do want, this is rough, I'm going to go over this, I just want some idea of what I like. Now, it has brought in those dots, so yeah, it was the brush tool that did it, okay. Okay, I'm going to export that. I've just toggled the brush. It's still applied to the picture, but I've toggled it off. Let's bring this one out. Same again. Get rid of my old one. I'm going to copy this layer mask over by holding Alt, dragging it, and that way I don't have to do it again. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. However, I think that needs a little bit more of a pinky tone. I'm going to create a hue saturation layer. I'm going to put the magenta filter over there. Okay, so we've got the photo filter, magenta, and I'm pretty happy with that blend. Now I'm just going to go in and fix up the, I might fast forward, just like do this and then fast forward for you guys. Okay, that's most of the blending done, so we have a nice transition. I'm going to get rid of some of the distracting elements here, but there's two elements here that I do not like. Don't like the way the hair light coming through is this sort of nice pinky yellow, and then here it just goes white, grey, and the same over here. So I'm not sure how I'm going to fix it, but I'm firstly going to try colorizing it, and the way I'm going to do that is create a hue saturation layer. I'm going to colorize it. I'm going to fill that completely with black so that I don't have to, so that I can just bring out the detail that I want. Command delete. I'm going to paint with white at 100% here, just roughly. I'm going to come out and just see what the transition's like. Okay, let's bring the saturation up. And that pretty much just matches the colour straight away. I'm just going to take some of the detail back. I'm just going to put the mask back where I don't want it. Oh no, I like it there. I quite like it there too. Oops. I'm actually going to extend it. Oh, thank you, Cat. I'm just going to extend it over here because there's the grey outline there, but again, it's just a little bit obvious that it's fake. Now, will I leave it at normal or not? Oh god, that's terrible. I'm going to put it on overlay. It just blends a little bit more with overlay, and I'm going to bring the opacity back of the layer. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to go back out, and if you just zoom in a bit so you can see it. Before, after. Might just blend the outsides of these there a little bit intense. So we put the black brush, opacity down probably to about 30%. And I'm just going to blend the edges. Just so it's not so obvious. Too much. Too much again. Okay. Now, the colour mightn't be the same over here. And I'm just going to bring a bit of that in because it just looks out of place. Okay, so back to our hue saturation layer. I'm not going to use the same one because I may need to adjust things. I'm going to duplicate. Oh no, let's try first. I'll just try it. So we're going to paint with white. I'm going to go about 50%. And just put that over the grey bits. Oh, okay. I'm not going to do a separate layer. I quite like that. Okay. Before, after. Before, after. There's a couple of areas here that are quite grey as well, so I'm just going to bring the layer, the hue saturation layer, over them just to match the tone a little. Just a little. Okay, I'm happy with the hair on everybody else. Now just some little details I'm going to go into. So I'm going to now make a new layer and go and just get rid of some of the distractions that I don't like. I can use the spot heal tool, hit J. Okay, you can go overboard with removing distractions, but and as you're doing them, you think, oh yeah, I haven't done much, and it's only when you go back and look at your before and after that you notice how much you've really taken out and how much of a difference it makes. I undo. I don't do it. I probably don't do it as much as I'm doing it right now, but I'm just, yeah. But I'm just doing this so that we can just rescue this picture as best can be. Okay. Pretty happy with that. Before, after, before, after. It makes a difference. And it's the sort of thing that no one would notice that you've done. And even if you left them in, people probably wouldn't go, oh yuck, look at all the distractions. Their eye probably wouldn't notice it, but this just makes it more appealing, full stop. Okay, I'm still not happy with the smoothness of this skin, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Lightroom, bring in another copy of this. Do I have a spare? Okay, copy 3. You would make a copy if you didn't already have one. And I'm really going to crank the skin, the noise reduction, so we can get better skin tone. Okay. There's a before and after. If you can, it's a good noise reduction tool. Just, I wouldn't use it on the whole picture like that. To me, that looks so obviously Photoshop, it's not funny. But I'm going to bring that in and only expose these areas, and not at 100%, just to smooth the skin out that I've got. The good thing about Lightroom is you can just keep making adjustments and keep exporting, editing in Photoshop, and get these amazing results by using your layer masks. Because one of the, I'd say probably, and I was guilty of this too at the beginning when I discovered Photoshop, but the first and foremost mistake that people do when they're editing portrait photos and cosplay especially, is they apply a filter like a surface blur or some other sort of filter because they've learned how to smooth the skin, and they apply it to the entire photo, and it just makes it so obvious. You must mask off the areas that you don't want to lose the detail in, like the hair, etc, etc. So, get off my horse. Now, let's bring this one in, shift, drag it, let it go. Get rid of that. I'm going to mask the whole thing. Hold Alt, create a mask, masks the lot off. I always leave it at 100% and paint in at 100% and reduce it later. So 100, paint with white. Let's bring the skin in. You can also use this on areas that have too much noise. And again, if you haven't used it on the entire photo, it's not obvious that you've used a softening or a de-blur, a softening or a blur at all. Well, not to me, it's not. Now, I have to say I wasn't going to use it 100%. I am, because I think it doesn't look so obvious. And yeah, sorry. Okay, now I'm going to paint some more areas in. This is something else you can do with layer masks, is don't paint everything in the same way. So we're at 100% there for the skin. I'd like to soften some of the noise in the wigs and the costumes, but not at 100 because we'll lose all the detail. So let's start at, say, 35. And I'm holding my mouse down. I don't like that undo. I'm holding my mouse down when I do those twirls. It's a good secondary reduction to, if you don't have Lightroom or you don't have any sort of noise reduction working, try a blur and just paint it into certain areas. Okay, pretty happy with that. Zoom right in so you can see what it's done to their skin. Before, after, before, after. And if you've got any strange things, say the picture was just of these two girls, I would then go further and blur more of this shadows down here, and I would clone to get rid of those pink, the strange blowouts that we've got in the highlight. I don't know what I did there. And take more of the noise out of there, but we don't. So being a group photo, doesn't matter. Okay, so that's my semi-finished product. I could keep creating more and more layers here, but sometimes I like to keep photos in stages. So I've got this final image here from the first stage, and I'm going to actually duplicate that. You can duplicate PSDs by using the same method to create a virtual copy. I'm going to go in